Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, my beautiful empresses, or welcome for the very first time to Embody Your Empress. I'm Sarah King, the host of this amazing podcast and the founder of Empress Nation. Here we are all about expanding our perspectives, seeing what else is out there in the world, and challenging our belief systems and how we can step forward to be that best possible version of ourselves that's really calling us forward. Today's guest is really going to help us do this. I'm so excited to hear the journey about what this beautiful soul has gone through. Tina Djuretic, welcome today.
Thank you. You look so pretty in pink. You look so summery.
Thank you. It is stunningly hot here in Australia right now in the peak of summer. As we're recording this, I have a little sweat glowing on, so it's not just makeup.
Well, I'm the exact opposite over in Canada on a cold winter night. Yeah,
We are chalk and cheese, light and dark, all the
that's
beautiful
right.
things in between. Tina, you have moved from being a child, moving through a really strict upbringing, which brought along a whole set of challenges, and you have really showed up for yourself, and you have put healing into your own practical way, and you share this with the world. You've just written another book, your second book, Finding My Sovereignty. Let's start with back to basics. Who are you as a human, as a soul, and how did you come to be on this journey?
Ooh, okay. Well, so I'm from Vancouver. I'm from Canada. I was born and raised here. And as you said, I wasn't necessarily born into a super strict family. My parents were always strict, I guess. But it was really when I was 10 years old that they joined a really fanatical church, let's just put it that way. So life became impossible because you take parents who are already quite strict and then you add these impossible rules, and it just made for a very difficult upbringing. Um, Parents were physically, mentally, emotionally abusive, very abusive, as were their parents before them. This was a generational trauma kind of a thing, as it so often is. And I was about I just turned 17, just barely 17 years old, still in high school when I finally had enough and left home. And then I had to make my own way in the world. And I didn't understand at that time just how broken I was, just how well messed up that I was, really, because you just think you're the smartest thing in the world when you're, at that age, and I know everything and don't tell me anything. And um I knew that I had a rough upbringing, but I didn't remember it. So I left it right where it belonged, or at least where I felt that it belonged, buried and in the past. And, I had enough memory to know that they were, difficult parents and quite abusive, and that I went through this church thing. But, um, I didn't dwell on it. And to be fair, I was probably even hard on my sisters for bringing it up when they would, and just sort of being like, and they'd say, "You have it easy, you don't remember," and it was a bit of a catch 22. But fast forward in my life to being, a woman in her late 40s, breaking up with her third partner, and realizing that I had this incredibly unhealthy pattern when it came to men, something I'd been trying to fix my whole life, but I don't think I had really a grasp on what the problem was. I spent my whole life saying, "What is wrong with all the men out there, right? Like, what is wrong with them all? Gosh, there's just nothing left," especially as you get older as women. We say that, right? All the good ones are gone. But after this last breakup, not only did it trigger a spiritual awakening, I had one foot in from my mid 20s and one foot out, let's just say, of spirituality. But this was a full blown, spiritual awakening. My pattern was obvious. My childhood was coming flooding back because this last partner was my mother. And that really took me by surprise. It really, um, not humbled me, it leveled me. because I just thought, how did I not see this coming? You know, my mother's bipolar, so it's something I've dealt with my whole life, and I didn't see it coming. And that really just made me just analyze myself in ways that I never had before. And it also made me stop asking the question, what's wrong with all the men out there? And I finally went inwards and went, what's wrong with me? What is wrong with me that I only date that kind of man, that I'm only attracting that kind of man, and that I'm only attracted to that kind of man? What's wrong with me? And when I asked the right question, well, the answers came, and they came in quickly. There was like no time to waste. She's asking the right questions. Jump on it. So it feels like my soul just like went, "Oh my God, yay!" So yeah, that's kind of where it all landed, and this led me to a channeler. I knew I needed spiritual help. I knew I needed help. I asked some friends, like, "Do you know anyone out there? Like, I want someone who's good, who's legit." And so I was sent to this channeler, and oh, wow. She well, she doesn't mince words, which is fine. I like that. I'm a Sagittarius, so I'm that way as well, but she didn't mince words. She's like, "We're not here to talk about predictions or your future or where you're going. Like, let's deal with real stuff." So we did. She walked me through generational trauma. She walked me, and I really appreciated that. I might not have been exactly in that first meeting wanting to hear it, but it really helped me to understand where my parents matriculated from, because they never talked about their past either, right? They were very quiet about where they came from. And it helped me to understand that everything that happened to them, they passed it along, that this was very much a generational trauma kind of a situation. It helped me find forgiveness for them. It took a minute, but it helped me find first compassion, understanding, and then forgiveness, which is where it needed to go. And through all of that, it was a long session. It was like 2 hours. At the end, she said, "Okay, let's talk about what your soul mission is." And that's when she said, "You're going to write about this. You're going to write a book. You're going to write a memoir." And I just went, "No, no, no, not that."
Like resistance. Oh.
Oh God, right? Like not even just resistance for my own privacy, but for everyone else that I would have to write about. I mean, this wasn't a fluffy story. I knew it wasn't going to be a fluffy story, so I didn't want to harm anyone else that way. I had a lot of guilt over that. But she made it quite clear that that's what was happening, and I didn't really have I mean, we always have a choice, but you don't have a choice. You know what I mean? Like this is your mission, do it or don't, but that's your choice.
But it's
And
going to be happy. So
right? Yeah.
kind of
Your soul will keep pushing you that way and you won't get anything you want, but sure, your choice. Right? Like you do you. Just keep fighting. Let's see how that works out for you. How's it
funny.
working out so far?
It's so true.
Right? You know, I mean, that's how I got to that point in the first place, isn't it? Spirit was trying to show me over and over again to heal this pattern, and I wasn't listening. So Spirit knocks on the door. We don't answer. Knocks on the door. We don't answer. It gets tired of knocking and it blows the door down. And that's when we go, "Why are you doing this to me?" And it's like, "Well, you didn't listen the 50 times I knocked on the door. So here's where we're at. But you're listening now, aren't you?" So, yeah.
Gosh, so
Yeah. So
good.
that's what kind of brought me to that place. And I wrote the book. I did it. I had no idea where to start, where to begin, where to end. So I just did exactly that. I started at the beginning, and I just wrote, and I told stories. And I said to her, "When am I supposed to do this? I have a full-time job. Like there's no way I can do this." And she's like, "Oh, honey, don't you worry. You're going to take 2 years to write this, and you'll find the time." So 2020 hits. I got nothing but time. Right? Lost my job. I live alone, so I couldn't have been more isolated. Nothing but time. 2 years to be exact. Exactly what she said. To sit down and write. And so I did. I had nothing else to do, and it made sense, and I knew I had to do it. And it was tough, and it was challenging, and it didn't break me. I mean, it broke me in good ways. It broke me open so that a light could be shining in on all those broken pieces. And I learned how to heal. I learned how to forgive. I learned how to love myself, really love myself. And then I learned boundaries, probably the most important part. And yeah, that's where I'm at. So the memoir came out last year, and then just 2 months ago I put out the second book, the one you're referring to, and that was the workbook. I figured that, well, in fact, she said to me, "You're going to write two books." At first, I mean, it was one book, and I was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" And then she was like, "Actually, it's going to be two books." I'm like, "Whoa, what?" She said, "You're going to follow it up with a workbook on how to heal because you're going to have to sort it out yourself, and then you're going to put that into practice." So that's exactly what I did, and I'm glad she told me that because throughout the whole 4 or 5 years that I was going through my dark night of the soul, I took notes. And that really helped to write the second book because it's hard to go back 5 years and go, gosh, where was I even 5 years ago when I started my healing journey? Because we grow so much, right? But you want to remember where you started so that you can help other people who are just starting out, like I was. So yeah, that's what kind of brought me to this place.
And what a reflection too. Like I'm thinking 5 years ago, the version of Sarah was nothing like I am today. I would be
Hmm.
shocked at, in a good way, like in the most positive way. But I have healed the things that I never thought I would heal. I was quite happy just shoving them down and repressing them. And I thought I would finish out my life like that. I was gonna take the easy option until spirit said, we have had enough of this as well. And you're right, it has a way of just going, you're not going to do it yourself. So we're just going to burn it all down. And you're going to have to. You're going to
That's
have to.
right. Scorched earth. If you don't want to listen, scorched earth, baby.
Oh,
Right.
absolutely. Talk about clearing time. Earlier in the year, I had done a lot of healing on my father issues that had been the traumas for me, and had amazing, massive leaps and bounds. Got to a really amazing place that showed in my love life as well. I finally met one of the good ones,
Yay.
and I had a full schedule. And so we've met, and I'm like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, I'd like to see where this goes. I'm just really busy, and I'm sending him screenshots of my calendar, and he's just like, it's cool. I'm patient. We'll make it work. I'm not in a hurry. You know, it's okay. And I'm like, all right, if you say so. Within 2 weeks, Tina, I'm not even joking, universe had burnt it all to the ground. My calendar was wiped, even my holiday completely gone for all different reasons.
Wow.
My next 3 months completely cleared. And I'm like, what did you do to me? I'm like, I was really looking forward to that holiday. But we got to spend amazing quality time together and it all worked out. So,
Oh,
um,
nice. Are you
yeah,
with him now?
yes, things are
Excellent.
still continuing to blossom. So, and I think that's the power of the healing work, right? There's so
Hmm.
many generational traumas that lay within our conditioning that if we don't acknowledge and deal with, they are going to play out through our particularly romantic lives. There's other areas as well,
Hmm.
friendships and other family members, but particularly romantic relationships, they are the mirror, right? That is where the deepest inner work.
Absolutely.
So
Hmm.
you just keep continuing to go because what resonated with your story was when you were 17, you were like, yeah, nothing wrong with me. Oh yeah, they were a bit strict, it's fine. I'm like, I was that woman too. I was that woman that was like, oh, I would never need to go to a therapist because my childhood was fine. And
Yeah,
here
I'm
I am,
Gen X. I can handle anything, right?
here I am, turned 40 this year, and I'm like, right, it has been burning for the last couple of years. Let's scrap this down as far as we can go in this moment and deal with the lack of self-love that I had that had stemmed from a present but absent father, and how that
Hmm.
had actually been showing up in my romantic relationships and non-relationships the entire time, like trying to fill in that self-love void, not having any boundaries, always trying to get the external to validate within, and it wasn't working, and it wasn't working for a really long time. But I was that
Yeah.
17-year-old that was like, oh, I no, I'm fine, there's nothing that'll
Yeah.
ever come of
Right?
me.
I've escaped from them. I'm good, right?
I'm good. I'm going to make my own choices and live my own life and move to a
I won't
whole
be like them at
different.
all, ever. I'll never be like them. Right?
I can hear them within my own voice, right? I can hear when my mother comes through me. I can hear when my mother comes through. And it terrifies me. And I'm like, how can I never be like that? You've caught it, Sarah. It's fine. The conditioning can scope out. You're aware.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, until we heal our stuff, every relationship we have is a reflection of what's wrong, what needs to be healed. Because spirit's not here to play. It's not here to just give us all rainbows and butterflies. It's like, no, you're here to learn. You're here to grow. This is a school. So I need you to learn this lesson. And sometimes our soul's like, and I need you to hurry up. Like seriously, you're 40, right? Like get on with it already.
Yeah, we're busy going, oh, it's them. It's why is there so many bad men around? Why do they keep doing this to me? And they're like,
Hmm.
hurry up, wake up, see the lesson, not blaming them.
Yeah, if you want to do better, if you want to attract better, then you need to stop dating because that's not helping you. Fix you so that you attract the right kind of vibration because you can only attract what you are. So if you're broken, broken people raise broken people, but broken people also attract broken people. A narcissist might be broken in a different way, but they're still broken. So, an empath like myself will always attract this narcissist when I'm not aware, right? Because the energy is attracting, like attracts like. So, my healer said to me, you don't get what you want in life, you get what you are. And I was so offended when she first said that because, of course, you think about all these assholes that you dated and you go, I'm not an asshole, right? Sorry. I don't know if I can swear on your podcast. Um, but that wasn't the point. The point was broken people attract broken people. So until you change the energy, the frequency in your body, you can't attract a good person. And it's not because you're not good or they're not good. It's because broken and broken, this lower frequency, it attracts it. When you raise your own energy through your own healing and find your own self-love, now you're capable of attracting a partner that is about love.
And where is a really good place for someone to start with that?
Ooh, so I find that anything we're struggling with in life, whether it's a lack of money, lack of mentality, all of these things, it often comes from childhood, just because this is where our foundation is laid, right? This is the foundation for our house. So in my own healing journey, I started with the chakras. I learned what the chakras are, and then I went straight to the root chakra because this is where it starts, right? This is where we start. Yeah, I started with a broken heart because even though this person ended up being so narcissistic and I didn't want him back, that doesn't mean leaving the relationship didn't hurt me. I loved him. I loved him so much. I was still in pain, but it wasn't my heart that was in trouble. So I didn't start with mending my heart. I started with mending the foundation, and that was my root chakra. And the root chakra is our safety, our security, our sense of belonging in the world, being wanted, being protected, being part of a tribe. And I didn't have any. Like I looked at the list of the things that were in the root chakra and went, "Oh God, fail, 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 fail," right? Like I wasn't even safe as a child. My parents were so abusive. They tried to kill us. So it wasn't even a safety. I mean, literally had no safety. So I had to go really back to the foundation to begin. That might not be where everyone needs to begin, but man, I'd say 90% of us go back to
Yeah.
childhood. Because it's also
I
not
would.
even just childhood, but that's where that generational trauma is.
Mhm.
All of our ancestral stuff is also in the root chakra. So sometimes you've got issues, you don't even know where they came from. Sometimes you can pinpoint it, and other times you go, for example, I don't drive. I've never driven a car. My sisters don't drive. It's the weirdest thing. None of us have been in car accidents. None of us had, both my parents drove and safely. Like there's no logical reason for none of us to drive. And so I have to go, did something happen in a past life? Did I die in a car accident or did something happen that makes me not drive? Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like we have
Like that.
ancestral stuff, we have past life stuff. That's all in the
Mhm.
root chakra too. So it is a heavily loaded chakra,
Yeah.
right?
I love any kind of resistance. I always ask, where do you think that resistance has come from? And people go, I don't know. And you're like,
Mm,
but go deeper than that. And if you go,
mm.
like I take people into a state where they have an open mind and the words that come out of their mouths, like it doesn't make sense until you are in it, till you see it, till you're feeling it. For myself personally, I was so resistant to breath work. I couldn't do it the first couple of times I tried. Like I was just like, I cannot breathe. Like my body was having a trauma response, and I'm like, I don't
Honey.
understand. Everyone loves this stuff, like it's like, the crack of today. And then I went and after in a session afterwards, just as I'm laying down and relaxing, my subconscious is kicking, we're about to go to sleep, and I'm just hit with this vision of me in a past life where I'm in a like a stonewall castle, the dew is on the walls, I'm giving birth, and they're like, make her be quiet, he's annoyed, like he's annoyed. And they put a pillow on my face and I suffocated while trying to give birth
Oh
because
my God.
my baby didn't want me, having birthing sounds. And I was just like, I'm like, well, that would be a good link to why I have some resistance to breath work, that fear of not being able to breathe. So I sat with it,
Hmm.
awareness around it, and I went back to a breath work and holding that awareness and knowing I was safe. I cracked through it and I had the most amazing experience. I'm like, now I understand why everyone loves this, but I had to find that root of where that had stemmed from for me. And people might say that's crazy, Sarah, insane. But I'm just like, if you look at what you're resistant to, I dare you to question what comes through, what vision you get, what you hear, what you see, what you're feeling in your body when you start to ask yourself the curious questions.
Absolutely. Our
Oh my,
soul wants us to heal. So when we start looking in the right direction, it's going to guide us. Also, we just need to ask for help when we feel really, really lost, right? Sometimes we forget that simple step that our guides don't intervene. Very rarely will they just jump in and intervene without asking them. But once you ask, gosh, they'll just throw their arms around you and hug you and also just push you in the right direction. I mean, be careful what you ask for, right? But that's the whole point, right? Is that we grow, we heal, and so many people resist healing because it's scary. It is. It's messy. Anyone who tells you it's not is a liar. It's messy, dirty, tearful, snotty work.
yeah.
And it's amazing. Yes, it is. It's like giving birth. It's dirty and painful and gross, and you swear you'll never do it again when you're in the middle of it. But when you're holding that baby, my God, you'd do it again in a heartbeat, right? That's what healing feels like. It,
It is
it's
the best
it's worth
description.
it.
It is the best
Thank
description. I
you.
love it. Yeah. And it's so true. It is just like that. Because people like I love when people are like, the light and the healing and the light, and it's all love and light and
Yeah.
butterflies and rainbows. And I like to come and be like, well, actually, it's not, because you've got to embrace the dark. You've got to get
Mm-hmm.
right into it to really see it, feel it for what it is. And it is
Mm-hmm.
messy and uncomfortable. And I have ugly cried like a
Oh,
billion
yes.
lifetimes of tears. And I feel so much better afterwards. I feel so much
Yes.
better because I don't hold on to it. I feel it and then I let it go and allow the process to continue. And knowing that I will be at this point again, like somewhere along my journey for whatever reason. And
Healing
that's
never
okay
stops.
because I've held myself here before. The first time's the hardest. And then, I can do this. And what comes out the other side is always so much better.
Mm-hmm.
The
So
juicy.
much better.
All right, Tina, I
Yeah.
would love to know when you were forgiving your parents for the
Mm.
role that they played on your journey, what did that feel like? What did forgiveness feel like for you?
So it was different for each of my parents because I held them in a different way. Um, I think little girls just automatically kind of worship their daddies, if you follow, right? So I was never outwardly that person, but on the inside, I think we do. Now, even though my father was very strict and very physically abusive, he loved us. And I know he spent the rest of his life feeling guilty for the things that he did. I saw it on his face the day the realization hit what he'd become and the regret that followed him for the rest of his life. Was he ever capable of apologizing? No, because he's from that generation. But he passed away. And I remember when my father was dying of cancer that we were all going to visit him, but at some point, all my sisters got sick. So they couldn't go because my father had no immune system. And I wasn't living anywhere near them. So I was the only one who could go. And I remember just being with him on his deathbed thinking, just apologize. Just give me what I need. Give me the closure. Just apologize. And he couldn't. And I never got that. And I fell apart afterwards. So for him, he was already gone when I went through my spiritual awakening. So forgiveness for him, talk about a big snotty crying mess. I was in Bali. I had Reiki with a girl I randomly met while I was on vacation, going through my whole spiritual awakening. Meet this Reiki girl, it was all meant to be. She pulls all this garbage out of my body as she does Reiki, all this darkness, all these gross demons that had been living there since my church days. And she said to me, um, there's a shame you're carrying from childhood, and I don't know what it is, but your soul very clearly told me to tell you it's not your fault. I was like, oh, okay. She's like, don't try and figure it out. It's going to just come to you. And I went, okay. So 2 nights later, I'm lying in bed. I get up at, I don't know, 4:30 in the morning or whatever it is to go to the restroom. I come out of the bathroom and I go to get back into bed. And then I went, no, you know what? I'm awake. Uh, and all of a sudden I had a flash to a memory from childhood that I had completely forgotten, but it gave me shame. And I went, oh my God, that's what she was talking about. So I was new. I didn't know what I was doing. And I just went on instinct. And I was like, okay, I want to speak to my inner child. So I called my inner child forward and I just talked to her and just really said all the things that this Reiki girl was saying to me. It's not your fault. You were just a kid. You didn't know, like la 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 la. And then when I was done, well, now I'm awake. So I just kind of went, okay, while I'm on this stream, I want to talk to my father. I don't know if he showed up. I'm going to assume he did, right? But I was like, I want to talk to my father. And I, for the first time in my life, said I mean, I did not hold back. I said all the things I'd always wanted to say. I really yelled at him for a good 10, 15 minutes, and I was practically convulsing on the bed. I mean, I was screaming. I'm sure the neighbors thought I was crazy. I'm crying, snot's running down my face. And when I said everything I had to say, I gave myself a minute to collect myself because I was a hot mess. And when I stopped crying, I just said, I forgive you. I forgive you for all of it because I'm tired of carrying this. That felt like £1,000,000, honestly, had been lifted off my body. I immediately felt this immense peace wash over me. And I really did feel lighter. That's what it felt like forgiving my father. My mother took a little more work. The physical pain healed, but the mental abuse, that's what I lived with for, 50 years. That's who I dated. It was the mental and emotional abuse that was really, my father wasn't innocent, but my mother was the one who really was that physically as well. But so for her, it required more of writing a really long letter and saying all the things that I needed to say. I went into a different ceremony for her. My father was like like it was an impulse. It just came. I felt like doing it and I did it, and I didn't need to go back and do it again. Like I let it go in that moment. My mother, I really needed to journal. I really needed to write, and I needed to write her a letter. And when I was finished, I burned this letter, and then I buried it in a planter box, in the soil. And I have to say, I probably had to go back a few times and forgive her again because there was a lot of layers to forgiving my mother. Um, but yeah, it's a relief. You don't even realize how much you're carrying and how heavy this burden is till you put it down. If you've had it your whole life, you don't even know it's there until you put it down. Yeah. And it was so again, my father wasn't around, but my mother is. And when I forgave her, I also immediately knew that I would never see her again, that that would be my boundary, because I also knew that she hasn't changed. It's just not that I'm holding on to my resentment. I really have no resentment against my parents. I don't call them names. I'm going to call it what it is. They were not good parents. They were not good people. But I don't call them names anymore. I don't blame them anymore. I'm not throwing them under the bus. Gosh, I wish for nothing more for my mother to find peace, truly, because I know she's not at peace and I know she's never had happiness in her life, and I wish that for her. But I can still wish that and not see her because that's my boundaries. I will not go in the presence of someone who's going to continue to verbally abuse me. Why would I do that to myself? That's my
Yeah,
self-love.
exactly. The more this needs to be talked about, it's okay, not just okay. You need to put the boundary up and say no to someone who causes you harm physically or emotionally in your life. It is
Hmm.
not okay for someone to treat you like that. It is okay for you to say you're not welcome here anymore.
Hmm. Yeah. And I didn't have to make a big deal of it. I didn't have to call her up and say, I'm never speaking to you again. No, no drama. Just that's it.
Yeah,
She doesn't call anyway, so it didn't even require a conversation. I don't call, she doesn't call. It's that simple. Right? It's just that easy.
that
You know?
simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know people struggle with that and they hold guilt over, casting people out. And there's that argument of family is family. No, absolutely not. Your well
Mm-mm.
being is your number one priority. So you put in the boundaries that you need to.
That's society that teaches us that, right? That family is family and you must keep them in your life. No, nope,
Exactly.
sorry.
No.
Because the next time I come back here, I'm going to be in a different family. So
Yeah.
these families we're put into are to teach us our soul lessons. That's it.
Mm-hmm. That's
We
it.
do not have to keep them if they're not serving us anymore. If they've
Mm-hmm.
served their purpose and you've learned the lesson, it's
Mm-hmm.
okay to walk away.
Yeah. I always like to think of a good indication too when we are holding on to something and we go through a forgiveness practice and we get to that point where we feel really good physically. There are going to be areas of your body that feel differently. And like you said, if you've been carrying it your whole life, you don't even know it's there until you let it
Mhm.
go and you feel like my for me it was my shoulders. My shoulders could actually
Mm,
come back and release. I didn't have that constant weight on me anymore. And I'm like, this has been there for 30 years. Like that was always
yes.
with me.
Yeah.
So incredibly powerful to notice like the correlation between the emotional and the physical and how it just really gets ingrained in there. And when you heal that emotional, your physical body follows.
Absolutely. Even weight. I yo-yoed weight. I've struggled my whole life with weight. When I started to heal, the weight just naturally started to come off. I didn't even have to try anymore because it was trauma that was trapped in my body and it was literally coming off. And that was amazing to me. I still have a ways to go, but we're never finished healing. But our body
Yeah,
really does tell the score, right? Our body holds our trauma so, so, so deeply. Yeah.
absolutely. Like you said, the root chakra, and its job was to find some safety. So, how can we find any sort of safety? We will hold on to what is coming into our body. We will hold it, we'll create that kind of safety. So, that makes
Yes.
complete sense there.
A cushion against the world. Literally, fat is a cushion against the world.
I'm going to protect you and I'm going to build the wall around you so no one can actually see you. You will be safe.
Exactly.
I'm protecting you, Tina. I got you. Thanks, buddy.
Mask, mask, mask. Yep.
Oh my gosh, 100%. I also really love that when you're explaining about forgiving your dad, you went with your instinct and healing. You weren't a pro, you were sort of coming into your spiritual awakening. You were just going with, this is dropping in, this is what I need to do. I'm following that. Okay, this is what I need to do now. I'm following that. I'm trusting what my intuition is guiding me to do to heal this experience right now, right here. I'm not questioning it. And you just went and trusted it completely with your full heart. That is so
hmm
beautiful.
Surrendering is such an important part of the healing process. The more you're broken, the more we tend to become control freaks, because when you have no control over your life, you become a control freak. And I was absolutely a control freak. So surrendering was a huge, difficult process, but it was also a relief. Just not be in control anymore. You know, the whole thing was such a bizarre situation to be told you're writing a book and then I lose my job and then I'm like, oh my God, who's gonna pay my rent? You know, I'm by myself 2 years without a job. Who's paying the rent? But I surrendered. Like when I decided to do it, I went all in, all in. And spirit would show me that it had my back by even sometimes I would walk through the park. I'd find $100 bill lying on the floor. $100, not $5 or someone left a quarter, you know, no, $100. And I knew that that was spirit saying to me, I've got you. And I'd be like, okay, I have faith, right? Like I really learned to surrender and to trust the process.
It's
Yeah.
the process. Absolutely. Yeah. And knowing that the process can look different with different areas of healing, and the process will look different for each one of them and vary with where you are on your journey. And that's completely okay too. You don't need to control that this one process worked over here, so I'm going to apply it to this other area and oh, it's not working. Oh, and get really rigid about that.
Mm,
That was another like bringing in that intuition and going, okay, this is actually what we want you to follow this time. This is a different extension of a lesson that we want you to embrace. Letting go
hmm
completely. The surrender is letting go completely and welcoming what comes in.
Exactly.
Oh
And
my
not
gosh.
being afraid of it, right? Because we're so controlled by fear.
Oh, fear.
Yeah.
I mean, fear is the biggest reason we don't evolve in the first place. The reason why we stay in relationships that are not healthy for us, or we stay attracting that same person that is not good for us, or we
hmm
get like you could have very easily gone to that channel and they could have been like, you're going to do all these amazing things. And you could have just been like,
No.
I am not. I am not. And even when it was just like, okay, it's go time, you still chose to step into it. If fear was blocking you, you could have still completely rejected that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mhm. Oh my gosh. Ah, Tina, I love it. So many really amazing, beautiful points there. And I know so many women, particularly, and men as well, are on this journey and that at that really pivotal point. Sometimes it feels challenging and hard, but chatting with you today, it's so encouraging, it's so inspiring, and it's like that little nudge to be like, it might be really hard right now, but keep going, keep
Yeah.
taking that step forward, keep trusting, keep following that intuitive guide coming through because there is more waiting for you out there. You just got to be open to
Absolutely.
it.
And your soul won't let you fail. It won't let you fall. What feels like failure sometimes is your soul trying to get you out of a situation that you're so hell bent on being in that isn't good for you because there's something better. Whenever spirit pushes us in a direction, it's because there's something better. It's never going to take us to what's worse. We do that to ourselves when we don't follow our intuition, but our soul would never do that to us. And we don't follow our instincts anymore because that's part of our fear, right? We've been told to just question, 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 when generally the first thing that pops in your head is the right thing in the first place, right? Because your soul wants you to succeed, it wants you to heal, it wants you to evolve. It's there to guide you, and I think a lot of people are also afraid of healing because they think, oh God, it's this big messy thing. First of all, there's no end game. Let's be real clear about that. We heal, our entire lives are about healing. So there's
Mhm.
no pressure to get to the end when it's a lifelong process. And that's not also to say, well, then why should I start if it never ends? That's only because we have lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes of stuff we got to heal, right? It will get easier for our souls when we step into more light and love and ascension, right? Because that's where we're at. That's where the planet's at. It's time to, make changes for sure.
I'm
That's why we're here.
excited about if I come back for another life. I feel like this life I've done so much, like fully feet first, jumped in, bam, all these things. And I'm like, if I come back and I do this again, I'm excited um, for not an easy ride, but like taking it on because I'm like, I feel like this lifetime's been very challenging. There's been a lot
Yes.
of learned. I've like and I've embraced it. So I'm looking forward to my gold star or my reward for the next the next evolution of Sarah. Thanks, Tom. I can hear them. They're like it's such
It's so true. It's
so
like, I
we
would
have to
like an easier life next time. It's like, that's not really how it works. I mean, you can have an easier life, but we are here to, it's a school, right? We're here to learn lessons. Yeah.
so like
I
yeah, you come here for the experience. Yeah, cool. Thank
keep
you.
reminding myself, I chose to be here. I chose to be here during this difficult time on the planet, right? We're all
Sometimes I'm like,
here.
oh, who's in this again?
Can
Oh,
I come after we're back into the 5D next time, please? Yeah. Well, we're there, aren't we? So, yeah.
I know. It's exciting to think about. All right, Tina, I have some Empress questions for you to round out our
Okay.
episode today. How do you embody your Empress?
Ooh. Well, I even named my memoir is called Finding My Sovereignty, which I think is along the lines of embodying your empress, because for me that meant learning how to stand in my power, remove all my masks and shamelessly be who I am and stand in my power. And that's how I embody my empress now. I'm true to myself. I use my throat chakra. I'm not afraid of my beliefs. I'm not afraid of how they make me look. And I don't need friends. I mean, meaning that I am okay with myself, and healing means that I ended up not having any friends because that's often what happens as well. And that's okay because my tribe is coming and I know they're coming, and I'm okay with that. So, by
Mhm.
standing in my sovereignty, by standing in my power, and by being truly, authentically myself, um, that's how I embody my Empress.
I love it. Well, I think we can be friends now because I feel the same. And that's as part of the evolution too, though. I feel like that's the same. Like friendships ebb and flow with my state of where I am spiritually. Like when I have fully like stepped into my sovereignty, friendships fade away, friendships dissolve. I find I am more out there on my own. However, I bring forward the upper women who are like, I'm ready to step in too. So there is that
Hmm.
sort of interaction there. And that's
Well, if
okay.
we're losing relationships that are bad for us, that goes with friendships too. It goes for
100%.
all things that are not vibrating at a higher level, right? Yeah.
100%. Getting good at going, okay, it's not serving me. It's all right. I don't need to try and cling on to it. Yay. Okay. Well, what does energy feel like for you?
Say again. You got cut off a little bit. What does?
What does your Empress energy feel like for you?
It feels like love because for me, love is strength. So it's soft when I need it to be soft. It's strong when I need it to be strong. It tells me off when I need it to be told off, when I need to be like pushed back where I need to be. It is all things. So love for me, when we think of Gaia, our motherly love, mothers can be mothering. They can be very soft, they can be very delicate, but they can also be ferocious, like a mama bear protecting her babies, right? So for me, love is the answer.
Oh, I just got the tingles. Beautiful. And what are your parting words of wisdom for inspiring your nation?
We came here for a reason. All of us, every one of us chose to be here. Nobody was forced into this life. We chose to be here. And if you want to feel like you have a purpose on this planet, then you need to do your mission, whatever that might be, because all of our missions are different. So I say, walk your path. Boldly, boldly walk your path. Don't be afraid of what other people think because it doesn't matter and it doesn't affect you. And if you truly love and honor yourself, then that's all that matters because we're here to assist Gaia in her ascension. And when we do that, oh my gosh, the amount of love and fulfillment that we feel, it's everything. It's why we're here.
I am actually a little bit teary at that. I've got little tears in my eyes. That hit me so
Hmm.
passionately.
Oh, good.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. I don't even have words to finish out a conversation. I love that so much. Go and walk your path. Be bold while you do it because what you are doing, and this I always talk about the ripple effect. What you are here to do, if you are true and authentic to what you are supposed to be doing here, supposed to be, are called to do,
Hmm.
then you are going to ripple effect. It is the vibrational rippling out to everyone around you, to our earth that we walk on, to our soul family that is there guiding us. Like it is one. We are one. We are
Yes.
all here to help and love and support each other in these lessons. And let's stop pretending. Stop pretending. Just
That's
embrace it.
right.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for joining us today, Tina. What a beautiful, slightly emotional conversation this has turned out to be. You only got back foot there. Yeah, though, so it's okay.
You're in touch with your emotions. Tears are beautiful. I love
Yes.
tears.
I always that is like a true conversation. Like when I get really emotional, when the tingles are happening, when it all starts to flow. Oh, I'm on fire too. I cannot wait to share this with everyone. We will pop all your links in the show description. So beautiful listeners, go and check out Tina, follow, get the books, do the workbook, really feel into this if it's resonated with you. Tina, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah. It was my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.